It was almost midnight when the request came through, my last ride of the night. Or at least I hoped it would be, because I was exhausted, my eyes burned from the constant glare of headlights, and my back ached from hours in the driver's seat. But the ping on the app showed a pickup at the old railway station, a place that was barely used anymore. So I figured it was someone coming in on a late bus connection, maybe stranded and looking for a ride. So I accepted, telling myself it would be quick and easy. But as soon as I turned down the long stretch of cracked asphalt leading to the station, I realized something wasn't right. The parking lot was nearly empty. No buses idling, no taxis waiting, just the station building itself sitting under the flickering glow of a single street lamp. The glass doors reflecting nothing but darkness inside. And yet, when I pulled closer, I saw her. A woman standing perfectly still near the entrance, wearing a pale gray dress that looked outdated. The kind of style you'd see in old photographs. And her hair hung damp and loose over her shoulders as if she had been caught in the rain even though the night was dry. She didn't wave, didn't move. She simply waited until I stopped the car and then glided forward with a strange grace. Not walking hurriedly, but drifting. And when she opened the back door and slid in, she carried nothing. No bag, no phone in her hand, only herself. "Where to?" I asked, trying to sound casual, and she answered softly, her voice carrying the faintest echo. "The Hillside Motel, room 6. And though I had driven past that motel many times, a rundown place on the edge of town, I couldn't recall anyone ever being dropped there at this hour. Still, it wasn't my place to question, so I started the trip, the app tracking us as usual. But almost immediately, I felt the weight of her silence, heavier than any small talk could have been, and I noticed the air had changed, colder somehow. Even though my heater was on, my breath fogged faintly in the mirror as I drove, and every time I glanced back, I caught the faint outline of her face in the dim interior light. Pale skin, hollow cheeks, eyes that seemed too dark, too deep, like wells that reflected nothing. The drive was only 15 minutes, but it stretched longer, the roads seeming emptier than usual. Every house I passed looked unlit, abandoned, and the street lamps above flickered in sequence, as though something moved along with us, shadowing the car. I gripped the wheel tighter, focusing on the lines of the road, but my ears caught the faintest sound from the back seat. Not quite breathing, not quite humming, more like a whisper carried on air. Words I couldn't understand, low and repetitive. And I nearly asked her if everything was all right. But something in me told me to stay quiet, because I had this sudden, chilling thought that if I acknowledged the whisper, she would answer me in a way I did not want to hear. At last the motel came into view, its neon sign buzzing faintly. Some of the letters burned out so that it read only Hill-Eyed Motel. The lot was half full, but strangely every car was covered in a fine layer of dust as if they hadn't been moved in weeks. And when I pulled up near the office, she leaned forward, her breath icy near my ear, and said, "Not here, take me to room 6. And against my better judgment, I drove further down the row of rooms until we reached it, the door marked with a crooked number 6 nailed into warped wood, the curtains drawn tight, though I thought I saw movement behind them, a faint flicker of shape crossing the window. I stopped, put the car in park, and waited for her to leave. But she didn't move. She just sat there, staring at the door as though waiting for it to open. And then she spoke, whispering so faintly that my skin prickled. "He's waiting for me." And with that she opened the door slowly, stepped out into the night without another word, and walked straight to the door of room 6. I watched as she raised her hand, pale fingers trembling slightly, and knocked, 3 soft taps. And for a moment I expected no answer, but then the door creaked open by itself, just a sliver, enough for her to slip inside. And the moment she crossed the threshold, the door shut hard with a slam that shook through the car, and all the lights in the motel flickered at once, buzzing, dimming, and then returning to normal. My chest felt tight, my hands gripping the steering wheel, telling myself to leave, just drive away, but I couldn't move, my body frozen, as though something held me in place. And when I finally forced myself to glance at the rearview mirror, I saw what made my blood turn to ice. Her reflection was still sitting in the back seat, her hollow eyes meeting mine, though her body had already gone into the room. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I twisted around in panic, but the seat was empty. Only the faint imprint of a body pressing into the fabric remained. And when I looked back into the mirror, even that vanished, leaving me staring at nothing but my own wide, terrified eyes. I slammed the car into drive and sped out of the lot, tires screeching, heart pounding like it would burst, and I didn't stop until I reached the highway, where other cars finally appeared, their headlights proof that I wasn't alone in some other place anymore. That night, I didn't log another ride. I went home and tried to sleep, but my dreams were filled with the sound of her whispering voice, words I still couldn't understand. And when I woke, my phone buzzed with a notification, a completed trip. Pickup, railway station. Drop off, Hillside Motel, room 6. Under passenger's name, there was nothing but a dash, no profile picture, no rating, just empty space. Even now, weeks later, I sometimes drive past that motel, and room 6 always has its curtains drawn, but at night, when the neon flickers, I swear I see her shape standing in the window, waiting, as if the ride isn't over, as if one night I'll be called back to take her somewhere else, somewhere deeper into the darkness. And when that happens, I know I won't come back.